hast journeyed far, and overcome much, chosen undead. Come hither, child.
Is it? Do I look wonky to you? Hang on a sec. Hello everyone and welcome to this video. I haven't filmed anything for a long time. And I figured with PAX looming in the distance, I could really use one more thing to do. So welcome to this video where I've decided that for once I'm actually going to show rather than tell my process in a very elongated format rather than just doing it through reels. So welcome to what is hopefully the beginning of my Dark Souls Gwynevere build. You did in fact hear that correctly. I am becoming Sunlight Mummy from Dark Souls 1. Fuck. For those of you who don't know who that is, insert very funny jokes here. Now, we got a month for me to get this shit done. So let's hope. So I wanted to start this entire segment off by running you through the things that I managed to pick up as materials. I did something a little different this round, and it's something that I haven't done in a while, which is go thrifting. I got so carried away by having unbridled access to Spotlight and other fabric stores in general that I just forgot that thrifting is a thing that exists. Basically, I forgot what it was like to be properly broke for a bit. But don't worry, that is why I was on a hiatus earlier this year. But I returned to my roots and went thrifting for a bunch of things today. And because I am so stoked to be using secondhand materials, I wanted to actually show them to you guys. So I'm going to do that now. I went to 2 thrift stores near me and basically went hard in the paint in the why? I went to 2 thrift stores near me and went really hard in the paint in the Manchester sections. So a lot of this stuff is not intended to be fabric, but I'm sure as hell gonna make it that way. Honestly, this is the least I have ever spent on materials, which I am proud of. This doesn't mean that I have everything though. I still have like trims and no doubt like little fixings and buttons and stuff that I will still need to get. But to give you an indication of how much I actually spent on these materials, I spent nearly $55, including stuff that I didn't even need to get, but I wanted anyway, which is pretty good considering I would have spent double that, buying new fabric and stuff, which is... This is the buyer's remorse dance. First up, I just found these random like little bolts of fabric. I don't know if you can see it super clear, but there is like a tiny little flower pattern running across this. In my mind, Gwenny is a very... She ain't real, your waifu is fake. But this giant projection of her that we see in the game is this beautiful, high femininity goddess. So I think delicate things like we see her with flowers and laces and wraps. So for that, I wanted to lean into a lot of really nice, elegant, shiny looking pictures, but keeping in mind that because she's this big idolized version by her sibling, pretty much, it's what they would have seen her as. And I think something really sweet, like a nice flowery touch, would be a nice, like, delicate thing to have in there. Also, I just really like how it looks. It's shiny and the flowers are too big without being like, boom, floral. So I like this. There's not a lot of it, so I'll probably use it for like a waistband or something, or like one of the tiers of the like big skirt thing. But this is going in there somewhere. There's going to be a lot of different contrasting... I became British. Contrasting fabrics in this build. And I'm hoping that once it's under like studio lighting or stage lighting or whatever, you'll see it as I kind of like swish around a bit. And that kind of ties into... So spoiler alert, I'm not building her original outfit because that's a whole lot of nothing. And I don't know if it's going to be too cold in Melbourne when I have to wear this. So I'm going to go for the statue version of her, which has a bit more clothing, and still find a way to make that like a bit more... I found an adorable little trim. It's like a lacy little thing, which is going to go right around the first veil. She has 2. I think I'm going to put it on the first one just to get that decoration going. It's cream, whereas everything else is white, but like, I don't care. This right here, I have actually discovered to be a bed skirt. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. Luckily, I am rather long, and basically having all this room will let me decide how long of a train I want to have behind me. It might be just a little bit of a pool rather than like a full train, mostly because I don't want this dragging along the con floor and getting super dirty because it is white. But I think a little bit of dangly like couldn't hurt. I love trains, and I've just never had the chance in cosplay to like properly utilize one. So I think a bit of a pool fabric-y business would do well. So the reason I bought this, and I didn't realize it was a bed skirt at the time, is because of this. It has these gorgeous pleats down the bottom, which I would not be able to sew with that much precision even if I fucking thought about it. But I love these wide pleats, and in the statue version, the skirt that she has is like flowy, but it has these like circular details, and I'm like, for the base skirt, like just the first layer of that, this would be a wonderful finish. And so there's one flat edge, which is probably where I'll be. I'm going to use that as basically free details. And yeah, work smarter, not harder is the answer. Here's the thing that I'm super excited to actually like butcher and make into something else. I found a bedsheet set, but it's got like really tight gathers all the way through it. I'm gonna get nice and close so you guys can see it. These like weird stretchy, almost like, is it honeycomb? It's not honeycomb, but it's these really elasticy gathers. Again, it's free detail for me basically. So I'm gonna either unpick or cut this up and use it to create what will likely be, I think, either the weird corsety top bodice piece she has, and the actual boob like cover things. I may also use this to create the other skirt layers. I'm not too sure whether I want to do those smooth or have them be in this lovely like ruffly fabric here. I have no idea, but the point is I have more than enough fabric to work with this, and it's gonna look really, really cool. It's gonna look awesome. Also, I have arm bits to make, so this might be used that for that. What stroke aneurysm even. I have arm bits that I need to make, so I could use that for that. I have absolutely no clue. And it came with pillowcases as well. It's gonna be really easy for me to like hack into this and make it like a top or something, but either way, free detail. The last thing that I scored today, which I am possibly the most excited about, are these golden shiny cloths with more of that delicious embossed? I don't know. Shiny fucking details in it. This is a much deeper gold, but it might be perfect for like what I'm thinking, because there's not enough images of her. Like, we see her, but she's under like 1,000 different shaders and the lighting is kind of sunsetty, so I don't actually know. Also, she looks kind of brown in the light, so she's black now. I don't make the rules. This is kind of a more deep yellow. I don't know if it's coming across correctly in this light, but this is yellowy gold, and then the other one that I picked up is kind of like a paler yellowish. It's warm. It's like custard, actually. It's like custard colored almost, like a little lighter than custard, but not pastel. And this is what I intend to be the second veil. So the one that she wears under the longer white one, this will be a shorter gold. And because there's this scallop detail in here, like, it's gonna look something like this. It's giving babushka at the moment. It's really lightweight, and I would have no issues wearing this on my head a whole day. So yay! So that is the materials portion of this video. The next bit I cut to will hopefully be me actually getting down and dirty and sewing things. I would like to give a disclaimer at this point. If you know how to sew / are good at these things, please don't come for me. I am entirely self-taught, and I'm well aware that the way I do things is not the way things should be done. I taught myself to sew like 2 years ago, because I wanted to make Lady D's outfit so bad. And since then I've just kind of been steadily teaching myself less and less cracked methods to sewing things and executing my craft. If you see something that you don't like or you don't agree with, let me do it. I'm sure there will come a time and a place where I learn these things, but it ain't finna be today. So please keep all of the elitist snobbery bullshit to yourselves. Thank you. I am probably going to spend most of this build being a little bit confused and in over my head about how symmetrical I want things to be, but at the end of the day, we're going to make something cool and it's going to be awesome. I don't want anyone to feel discouraged. By no means is my execution perfect, but it is achievable. And in sharing this, I am aware that I'm being a little vulnerable. So yeah, everybody just be cool, be chill. We're gonna make a thing and it's gonna be totally sweet. Okay, so this whole process begins with a lot of ironing, and I do mean a lot because I was working with linen. It presented a unique challenge wherein it would just get crinkled really easily, like with all my moving around and draping. So I'm surprised half of this video is not actually me just constantly pressing out fabric. I didn't include footage of me doing this, but I ironed everything in between sewing sessions and like on top of where you're supposed to iron things. Here is the basic layout of the bed skirt that I turned into the overskirt. It's pretty big and I didn't actually have to cut it or do all that much to it. Here is my very sophisticated process of me just hunching over the floor, working out where to gather it in basically. I didn't want to have to cut it if I didn't really need to because it was, you know, this is a nice piece of linen. So here I am making sure everything's even and just working out where to put a seam so that I could install a waistband and make sure it's all even. We're gonna pin that together and it's gonna be really, really nice. This also, like, I just went back and forth on it so many times. I won't even lie to you guys. This whole bit right here was just like an hour of me like adjusting the pins and working out like if everything was even, just because I didn't want to cut it so bad. But we managed to get through it, and here I am sewing that waistband. It's just one stitch really the whole way through. That's me putting the elastic through, and there we go. It did need a bit of taking in. I found that like the shape, once I'd like sewed everything and put it in, it needed to be brought in a bit more because it was just a bit too baggy. And here is the first try on of anything I made. Honestly, I'm considering wearing this piece just for no reason. It does look a little bit suspicious in this stage, don't worry about it. And then I had to start the very long process of unpicking bed sheets and pillowcases to make the arm bits. I finally managed to get through it though, hence the time lapse. And this is the pillowcase, once that I'd like taken apart and made it look like that. There's my little dancey dance. It's great. This is me patterning out the sleeve. This is the base shape of the sleeve. And it didn't take that long. It's just like a weird hourglassy shape because it has to cinch somewhere in the middle. Like the base sleeve, I wanted to have a bit of a gather in it. But the sleeve design actually changed a lot while I was doing it. So here's the pillowcase that I'm cutting it off of. I don't have fabric weights, I just use whatever random crap is on the table. The sleeves needed a lot of adjustment. The initial shape I had was good, like it draped the way I wanted it to. But then I decided it wasn't long enough and that it wasn't detailed enough. So here's me sort of deciding how far to bring it in and if that's what I want. You can see I'm kind of scaling it to my arm, and then I decided to use the offcuts, which was, I'm not gonna lie, a bit of a pain in the ass because I was like, oh, I cut everything to the perfect length, and then I didn't. But that's fine. It gave the sleeve a bit more body in the end, and here's a sweet angle of my machine just putting that together, and that is what that ended up being. So I ended up being very scrappy and using almost all of my offcuts for the pillows. It did mean the like sleeve was a little longer, but I figured with the elastic that I was gonna put in there, it'd actually turn out okay. And I liked this a whole lot more. You can kind of see me being a bit more thrilled with my efforts here, but I wasn't like 100% on how I wanted that to be. I figured if I'm gonna have to shove these inside of cuffs later, I don't want them to look quite this boring. So I'm still, you can see me deciding what it is exactly I want to do here. Do I want to gather it? Do I just want to let it be? It's a real up and down, thinky. In the end, I decided to take the scraps from the like non-gathered side of the pillow and do like a little ruffly thing around the cuffs. These are really rough. I don't think I bothered to tidy up those edges, but to be honest, it doesn't matter. It came out fine. Like, this is still the base sleeve. I haven't even made the overs yet. And with that, the sleeves were finally where I wanted them to be. They're dramatic, they're big, they're puffy, and I really liked that. This is me finally being satisfied with my efforts. Then it was just on to the, you know, boring old attachment stuff. Okay, we are now moving on to me constructing the bodice. Now, this was a really fiddly process from beginning to end. I did my patterning and my cutting on different days. Normally I would do them on the same day, but this was just a real fiddly thing to work out. Eventually I got like the shape that I wanted, and I entirely bullshitted this. I vaguely know how to draw things. I mostly just know my proportions and how things work, and from there I can just kind of rip the shapes and make it how I want it to be. So, you know, this probably could have stood to be like a couple more pieces, but you know what? I'm okay with how it came out. I got it down to 4 pieces, traced it, had the pattern pieces cut, did a test. I think that's a test. I actually don't remember. I think I was running short on time when I did this, and just went straight into it, like, for better or worse. At the end of the day, it is still a bedsheet that I'm using. And this was sort of the painstaking part here, pinning everything and working with slight curves here and there and making sure everybody lines up. This, no joke, took me like 2 hours. It was weird. Yeah, you can see me kind of powering through it here, but I readjusted these pins so many times. It's probably not a shock to those of you who make bodices often, but I don't. And that's me sort of gauging how it fits. It does fit, which is good. I approached the first part of this like half at a time in case I like botched it. And then it turned out to be that long, and I was feeling pretty proud of my efforts. I won't lie to you guys. I don't make bodices, like I said, so this was a pretty cool feeling. It looked really nice, just plain, but it was time to do the shiny side. So I went ahead and did that and decided it could also stand to be a little shorter. Just because I didn't want to have like, you know, for the comfort of wearing it, I didn't want to have too much hanging out anywhere. That's me celebrating the fact that it actually came together good. And it started to look really cool once I added that ribbon on top of it. Honestly, I would have left it this way if I had less of a craving for excess details. But there we go. That is some trim that I had both left over from another cosplayer and that I bought. And then that's the base, like, tubey bit of the top done. I'm pinned into that. There's not a zip in there yet, but I was still feeling pretty stoked with how that came out. It fits. It does look a little squishy, but I think it's just because I had extra like padding that day, and I didn't have footage of me making the triangles because this took a while. This is sort of draft 1 of like the triangles that go over it, and I was okay with it. You can still see they're a bit loose, you know, still feeling my oats, still loving it. But there's some other adjustments that happened, which I am about to tell you about. Okay, now it is at this point in the filming process that I do realize that everything sort of looks the same footage-wise, which is not the most interesting thing in the world. So this is an intermission right here to talk about some of the creative choices I made and also the inconsistency. This tripod lives upstairs and I sew downstairs, and I'm a very lazy person. So while I'm sure the quality of my footage would benefit from me literally just moving it downstairs, I can't be fucked. But basically, the technicality of this project kind of escalated, like the the difficulty spiked a little bit right in the middle after I made the like midsection piece. Because I made it, I fitted it to my waist, and then I realized I need a zip, and then I was like, oh, okay, fine. I have to try and find a way to make it work, and now it's a bit too loose, but it's okay because no one's really going to see the back anyway. And then I had to add the like boob ribbon things over here. And I realized there is a chance that a small breeze could pass and suddenly most of PAX would cop a full frontal of me, which is not what we want. So I had to find a way to either put padding in there or put support in there, because I don't know if it's like dead obvious, but like she's breasting boobily always, all of the time. In order to get the silhouette right and the shape of what I need right, I found a bra that supports me decently well, has a little padding in it, but was already broken, and I needed to fix anyway. And I thought, okay, I'll take that and I'll sew this bra, the cups, into where the ribbons are, and then like sort of cover the cups and the straps as I go, and then create like a halter neck with the top through here. So that's what I did. And subsequently, I created the most easy to put on, well-fitting top I have ever worn in cosplay. I think I could easily get a whole day out of it very nicely. And I'm quite excited to wear it. Also, the shape is impeccable. So, you know, praise the sun. And by sun, I mean I have no footage of me doing this because it was all greatly improvised. Like, I was looking at it and I was like, fuck, shit, damn it, I have to like find a way to make this work. So I do not have recordings of me doing that. So I thought I'd explain it. I then had to go back and alter it because I realized that the neck was a little too low and the support wasn't hanging right. Like, the silhouette had just changed once I installed the bra. And given that satin doesn't have as much give in it as I want, I'm like, I really want to get this right at least one time. So I undid my original halter neck, sewed it up, made it a bit tighter up here, added the zip, and now it fits lovely. The other thing I do not have the best amount of footage for are the arm coverings. So I made the initial arm doobie coverings out of two pillowcases, and then the next thing I did was this fabric scrap that I thrifted. It has this lovely like flowery pattern on it. You would have seen it earlier in the video. I used just one layer of that because I didn't want it to be too thick. The thing about Gwynevere is like none of her shapes like really thick. She's royalty, but it's like very thin, linen-y. I guess because she's like the Princess of Sunlight, she's just really fucking warm all the time is how I'm choosing to interpret it. But none of her garments strike me as being quite weighty. So I did like a thin layer of this, and then I added a trim on top of it, and then 2 segments of lace at the top to secure here, and then in the middle to create kind of like a gather here. So the cuff is going to stand out really nicely against that. And it creates this lovely like tiered tasseled effect, which I really, really like. With this one, zooming in is going to be essential because I've added like little details and different shades of ribbon and stuff that I really like, but it doesn't stand out, like it doesn't grab you straight away. And the point of this is to keep it simple, but to keep it elegant at the same time. I'm still like balancing those two things because I have a compulsion to add like pearls and jewels and just embellish the ever-loving fuck out of it, but that's not the vibe. The vibe is intricate gold, long lines, beautiful, complex shapes that don't immediately grab you, but sort of the longer your eyes rest on it, you see the intricacies of like the laces and the patterns. So that's what I've tried to do. A contrast of texture and pattern. So all of the like base garments, like the base skirt and the tubing of the sleeves, those are all made of like a linen-y, cotton, whatever the pillowcases and sheets were made of. But all of the outer layers, so the arm coverings, the top, the capelet when I make it, the veils, they're all made out of satin and shiny fabrics with details on them because like those will be on the outside. They're meant to be seen. One half is clearly under and the other half is clearly the overs. The veils I just finished doing last night. I still need to embellish them. I did not record that either because I was just in a zone. And also working on something else with my duo for this cosplay. So hopefully when we take pictures and videos and stuff, they'll appear at the end and you'll see what we're working on. But I was working on a helmet and a tunic as well. Like my attention was not solely on filming. I decided I'm not going to be wearing a wig for this costume and I'm not going to be straightening my hair. Gwynevere has basically the same length hair as I do, and she's kind of tan. So I thought, okay, we can go a little bit deeper into this. She has dark brown hair already, so I'm taking that to the next extreme and making it work for me by using my natural hair. So this is pretty much what it'll be. Like, hopefully my curl pattern will come out a bit nicer. I'll put some like mousse in it or something. I haven't had the chance to like fully wear my natural hair with like my full natural hair color out as well, because last time my hair was dyed. But I had a look at it, and I really like how it looks. But that's the update so far. You'll get more of me when we do the next bit. Okay, cool, bye.
Sunlight Wizard Money Gang.
We love casting spells.